Hey there, welcome back to Creepy Encounters. In today's video, what's the creepiest confession made on Reddit? There was a guy who confessed that he stalked a girl for a year, hacked her love interest's computer, planted a load of evidence that love interest had been stalking her, and was into a load of weird and creepy stuff, revealed it to girl, helped girl to get a restraining order on love interest, used that as his way in with the girl, and eventually married her. What the actual fuck? That is some psychopathic shit right there. I managed to find it. Remembered the story slightly wrong, but the real story is even more messed up. Ask Reddit, what secret will you hide from your family and take to your grave? Throwaway. FYI, I'm a guy. Bit of a long one, but anyways. Years ago my GF, we'll call Deb, and I were out with her friend, we'll call Sarah. This one day Sarah had to pin unlock her phone each time to take one of many pictures. Out the corner of my eye I saw her pin. I saved it in a note. Months later Sarah and Deb were at my place and went to the pool. Sarah left her phone indoors. I used her password and hit jackpot. Nudes, videos, message logs with some guy she was talking, we'll call Jeff, too, along with tons of dick pics and videos of him jacking off. Now Deb was hot, but Sarah was a fat chick that worked her ass off and became a 11/10. With this goldmine of pics and vids I concocted a slow plan, very slow. Slowly I broke off with Deb but kept in touch with Sarah. I then created an alter ego online, we'll call it Vanessa. For months I worked this identity so it looked real. This identity started following Sarah on all social media. Sarah accepted any friend requests. Vanessa blackmailed Jeff. Jeff was given 2 days to stop talking to Sarah or his dick pics got leaked. He was chicken shit and dropped her like a hot potato. But Sarah was strong-willed. When Vanessa threatened Sarah to stop talking to Jeff or her pics get leaked, she protested, so I knew I had to change tactics. Vanessa disappeared for a while until I could get Sarah's phone in my hands for a bit. One day Sarah was over and lost her phone at my place. I found it for her the next day. Not before I installed a spy app that let me keep track of her everything. A few weeks later Vanessa came back, but now armed with the conversations Sarah was having with everyone. While tracking Sarah's reactions and suspicions, I made it show that Vanessa wasn't real. Now all my friends know me as being pretty tech literate. One day I'm talking with Sarah and she breaks down crying, telling me how she'd been long distance sexting this guy and somebody hacked his or her phone and now she's being blackmailed by some stranger she doesn't know. So she asked me if I could help her. Long ending short, I made it look like Jeff was Vanessa. I made it look like he created this person so that he could blackmail Sarah into fucked up sex stuff. Sarah left him and guess who was the hero? Me. I caught Vanessa. Sarah was now safe because of me. Once we blackmailed the guy, Vanessa disappeared. You know, for realism. Sarah and I now have this tragedy, this hurdle that we overcame together. We started dating not long after. She was never going back to long distance relationships and wanted to try local. 4 years later we're married. TL, Dr. Months of planned lies, blackmail, espionage got me my wife. There was a guy who confessed to murder using that bear meme. I think that one qualifies. They also caught the guy shortly after the post. The one where some guy admitted he sold his house and was living in the bunker he made in the backyard was good. Can't link now, sorry. On the legal advice forum several months ago, it's been deleted, someone got on there who described, in detail, a sexual encounter he had just had, where, when he went to the bathroom to take a shower, when he came back out the woman was gone, and 20 minutes later the cops showed up. The whole story sounded like a very cliched and detailed rape scenario. A few commenters responded to the op just to tell him to shut up, stop typing on Reddit, and go call an attorney ASAP. Then, the story was deleted. The guy who confessed to spending thousands of dollars on inflatable dragons so he could have sex with them. It was in a finance thread, which made it even more bizarre. Eventually someone finally asked if he had sex with them and he's like, well, duh. I'm not sure of the thread and it was months ago, but it was a child psychologist who was talking about molesting and abusing his clients. I work in mental health, so I think it was on a related subreddit. Anyways, it was super disturbing. He went into really creepy detail about how he would groom the children. Some of the things made me think he wasn't really a psychologist, but some of his knowledge made me think he did have some healthcare knowledge. I know a guy on 4chan made a game where you had to find coordinate that lead to the body of the victim of the murder he did. Edit, not cool when you mention a story like that and people, confused, are asking you, but which of murders are you talking about? There are so many. I remember when a guy used Confession Bear to say that he was supposed to cheat with his new wife's best friend and waited for her in a hotel, but she died in a car accident on the way there. Not exactly a Reddit confession, but there was a guy who posted on /b asking if he should kill his girlfriend. They said yes, and then he responded with pictures of her body, strung up so that her teenage son would find it when he got home, as the other commenters continued to encourage him. It was reposted on Reddit and ended up making the news. That one made me sick to my stomach. I heard a double life story that sounded too real to be fake. Basically had 2 full families in 2 different states. He described how he'd pull it off with both families. Recently moved to a new place. My neighbor next house is 80 years old, cool guy. We clicked off pretty good since he lives alone and I being on a road for so long at a time, truck driver, him single dude in mid-30s. He told me that his cousin used to be a truck driver as well. What he told me that none in his family, my neighbors, knew that he has had 2 families. One in North Dakota and other in Nebraska. Dude was married to 2 women and had kids with both. He pulled it for 20 years, neither of them knowing of the existence of the other. As a truck driver, I can totally see this being legit, just saying honey, I have a load to deliver to. The one where he was going to reveal and famously anti-gay senator for having a relationship with another man in 3 weeks' time, but then never posted after the deadline. Probably the confession where the Redditor and a girl friend decided to experiment in bestiality with his dog. They waited until no one was home. The girl stripped down naked and bent over on all 4s and changed her mind when the dog approached her. The dog then proceeded to chase her, mount her and have sex with the girl. She ended up committing suicide weeks later. Not sure of validity of it, but still disturbed the hell out of me. I remember a guy who unknowingly admitted to molesting his cousin on Reddit when he was asking for advice. Pretty much they were having a sleepover and he sticks his hand down her pants and starts fingering her out of nowhere. She stops talking to him after that and he's freaking out saying she's being a bitch and he was worried she was going to tell on him even though she definitely wanted it. After all, if she didn't, she would have stopped him. After everyone in the comments trying to explain that he molested her, he argued back saying they're wrong but then deleted his post. I can't remember where it was from, but it was probably r/AskReddit since it's my most frequently ventured subreddit. Anyway, this dude confessed to taking advantage of, I think it was his cousin, and her friend's drug addiction, where he would supply them with drug money if they did sexual favors for him, and by sexual favors, he meant anything and everything. The extremely fucked up part was that he would force them to do things they didn't want to do, like forced anal sex or painful sex in general, and they just let him do it because they need to feed their addiction. He described it as having his own personal sex slaves. It was downvoted to hell and I was scarred reading that, but I think it was one of those worst confession threads like this one, but for actual confessions. I vaguely remember a post where a guy was caught up in corporate espionage, and it was downvoted into oblivion. But he had posted an Imgur link with a couple photos as proof in another subreddit. The account was his regular, he posted regularly before that post irked. After that post, nothing dead. Can't remember what it was, but it was a couple years ago. Someone accidentally killed multiple tenants, maybe a family? Because he left a rag or something in a bad place in the basement. He saw it before any investigation and took to so it could go back on him or business. I wish I remembered better. I accidentally killed 7 people. I put a rag into a new water heater exhaust to keep debris out and installed it in a rental. I get a call a week later. I show up and there's EMS and police. They ask where the gas shutoff is. I go down and see the end of the rag I forgot sticking out. Rip the rag out, shut the gas off and head upstairs, only to be told all the tenants were dead. I drink all day now and sleep. It's killing me from the inside, but if I say anything my family is ruined. There was no fire, they all basically suffocated in their sleep. If the amount of natural gas in the air you're breathing gets high enough, it can kill you. The gas backed up into the building because he had accidentally left a rag stuck in the exhaust of the gas-powered water heater he installed, and the concentration in the building became high enough that it was deadly. It might have been low enough to allow entry to the building to use the shutoff, but still high enough that breathing it in for an hour or more, tenants, was fatal. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more real-life creepy encounters around the world. See you in the next video. Bye.